time. Okay, I want to thank God for uh, an opportunity given to me to be here, and I think it's another time I'm dragged into 15 minutes into my time, and I'm here for another 45 minutes. But I want to thank God for we can go into our promo, but I want to thank God for giving us another day. Is sometime when we talk about timings, we sometimes we catch up with time, and we're trying to adjust ourselves here the level of the community engagement every Friday, and is we're going to be coming up with some adjustment. This adjustment is could be the final. I don't want to say that because we have a lot and other things that it's going to occupy our time. Time is money. Time is so important. I have a lot coming up with this book launched, and I believe that two things happens when a man decide to take on something. He has to be focused. Now, when I speak on here, I'm speaking about every one of us. So, but today I want to stick up there on community engagement as we look at the word rights and we look at the word responsibility. Actually, in regards to our rights as right holders and our responsibility to make choice. At the community engagement level, we think that people always put the gospel first or before something, and sometimes it's not even the gospel. It's just for you to apply your your practical works, and you keep saying to people, Jesus love you, and well, if you didn't say that, it doesn't mean Jesus doesn't love them. But the problem we face today in our society is that because the reason why that I have this Jarvis book drive is to raise more awareness about education. Reading is a problem to many individuals and people comprehensively. We think that when we talk about human rights, we forget about the responsibility of the next person who they know their rights, but they don't want to assume to take the responsibility of the actions that it took 3 days ago. So let's take for instance, if I go in like the book is the second version of the book, Human Rights for Children. It's coming up. It's going to be up uh, for the launching also, but it's a very powerful book, and I dedicated it to people who was along our way and are doing great things in the world, not because they gave me money to do it. No, it's not because well, no, but because of gratitude. So, but I'm going to be talking more about it during our book drive on Tuesday. It's a time that is going to be massive awareness about what the books are all about, especially the one coming up on the 26th. So it's a clear indication as we talk about uh, community engagement. How many of us know that we have been on this mountain for years, right? And on this mountain, we are not an organization that creating content. Had it been so, I would have been playing some games or some fun for people to follow me because they want to listen to me. Well, not only that, sometimes you got to also be willing to, I'm sorry, I think this thing will fire for me. You got to also be willing to have some time, talking about driving our passion uh, to where, our goal, to where our heart is. Sometimes we can't drive our passion where we need to drive it because we are thinking about something different. And God is saying to us, this is what I want you to do. So at the community engagement level, we believe it's an open institution. It's not set based. It's not a religious institution. It has a foundation upon God, but it speaks about every individual. Lens, which is Life Empowerment Network, is a spiritual arm, is a ministry. So we engage in in making the public to know not only their rights. At this point, we, looking at where we are into the world today, just look around and see the loss of life. I think last Saturday we lost a very young man. Noting went with his friends, and the friend could not give account of him. And a lot of story. We have another young woman who actually had a problem. Uh, Both of them, the husband, decided to take the life of his wife. Now, domestic violence is something that we face every day, and people take advantage of men. People take advantage of women, especially. So during this crisis time, we must understand our rights and our responsibility to make choice. This is not about as you died in the marriage or about the fact that my children father want to leave me and I don't want to leave him even though he don't want to see me. So you can be abused, but it might not be violation. And people always say you violate my right, you violate my rights, because they don't know what is the word violation, when it become a violation, and when it become probably a crime. When do we call it a murder or intimate femicide, taking the life of if your female partner? That is they're not a shocker. That is it. A man taking the life of his spouse or his wife, and if that man is not, man, I'll call you. So if that man is not actually focused, actually that man is going to lose his partner. And if that woman is not careful, she's going to lose her partner, and then she ended up in jail. Rights and responsibility. There are many of us that have rights, and sometimes we don't know our responsibility to protect that right and to hold ourselves accountable. We often, uh, talk about the rights and forget about our responsibility in order to take actions. Pastors, leaders violate people's rights, or probably, I'm not going to call it violation, it could be abuse. Violation is when government fail to take actions. Sometimes, in a simple terms, when authority, uh, who's supposed to take action, fail to take action. Duty bearers fail to take action. So it become a violation. You see, the problem with people is sometimes they don't identify with you, whether you're on Facebook, they don't interact with you on Facebook, uh, but they interact with you on Messenger. They have their reason, but it's something that sometimes as a person you got to be very careful about who you interact with. If they don't want to interact with you on Facebook, well, they got a reason, and you know them, and you know the reason why. Probably they might not want to text come into Facebook because we have different things happening on Facebook, even though they are on Facebook. So my perception or my understanding here, as I talk about this whole thing, driving it to the level at which we can drive it, it's not about me talking here on Facebook, talking about the kingdom, talking about how and we can raise our voices. How can we change the society? How can we change that the next step to the next level of our life? or what we are doing, should we remain like this or on this level? Should we always be just talking about human rights, or probably should we increase our volumes? Should we, besides having our offices and other things, have a pantry? It's more than just speaking. It's about taking action. So at the community engagement level, we see that many organizations that might have the opportunity to speak, to take actions, they are not taking action because, well, they don't have the capacity to do it. Fear is there. They find themselves into a community, into a nation that try to infringe on their rights. So they may not be taking actions. And I try to observe and try to bring it here to take it to that level. What level? The level at which we can assault. We can talk about some of the things that we're doing. How do we go about meeting our daily needs? How can my own effort, understanding the rights and responsibility of each citizen of our country and a nation, how do we approach it as civil society leaders? Is it our responsibility to keep informing the world, keep informing our communities about how dangerous it is to have friends or our children? It is our responsibility as parents. You see, it is time for us as leaders and people who understand, yes, we know our rights. If I talk about rights, everybody want to claim their rights, but their responsibility to take action, to work with government, to buttress government effort. It become, well, an ignorance or something that we ignore or we're not taking into consideration. At the level of the community engagement, I think we can drive our passion. We can understand from that perspective. In Africa, when I was listening to some of the things back in Nigeria, it is because of our religious leaders and different leaders. When I speak of religious leaders, not only Christians, I speak of other guys from the religious segment that want to dominate our nations. But then they find themselves they have different group into the religion that try to destroy people's life because they think that could be the best solution in order to take over. Rights and responsibility. The rule of law must be applied. When you're looking at some of the things that are going on in our country, and you see how people are silent, even though we have had different government, but there's something different could be for this government or that's in Liberia or a government that you can see. So our responsibility as citizens is to respect the law, understand our responsibility, and take actions, and not to wait until everything have sealed or have gotten worse. So we need to keep educating our people, need more engagement into our communities because of poverty, because of no job, because of a lot happening. So our community young people are very easily able to be swift. In other words, can be pursued. People can just use any means to get them over on the other side or any side, no matter what is a bad thing or good thing, because of education, because of the foundation we have in Africa. Our mentality is, as long as this bank can give me money, I think I like him or her because he cares for me, right? So the enemy and all of us need to hear this. At the level of a community engagement, we are branding. That means we are selling, we are marketing uh, the products. We've been marketing for years, right? we are not looking at what others are marketing when it comes to civil society. We are looking at what the essence of human rights. What is the main basis for which we started this initiative? Is it because we want to be seen on the social media or probably want to be famous? Or is it because we want to fulfill our long-term or short-term goals? That question remains unanswered to every one of us. Those of us who are family oriented, you have your wife, you have your husband, and just I think may her soul rest in peace and may their soul rest in peace. I think last week, two couples, one living in the same house, and well, they are on divorce, they're on separation, and now finally it should have been divorced. And this guy, well, say if I don't have you, nobody else is gonna have you. So it better to walk away from a relationship that is toxic or that is so embarrassing, abusive, than to remain in a relationship and always you are discouraged about life, rights, and responsibility. We are making choices. If I decide to travel to Uganda to talk about um, social, economic, and cultural rights, the human right based approach to development, if you look at that aspects of culture, you have a cultural right. That cultural right you have, as long as the culture is not harmful, according to law, according to the rule of law, as long as it's not harmful, you have the right to not agree with another person or group of people who want to come from a different not culture for value to bring to dismantle your culture. You have the right to your culture. So uh, a good example is if a man went out there and decided to join a group of people and probably turn into something else than to be a male, and as your law, your cultural rights, you want to preserve that right. And so if you look at Article 18 of the religious tolerance and Article 19, Article 20, these rights up to Article 17, when you begin to look at these rights, it's right to assembly, there's speech, probably when we talk about political opportunity, uh, voting rights. If you look at those rights and understand that you have your thoughts, you have freedom of thought, you can decide what you want to do. But as long as it is not actually harmful against another person, you have the right to it. So once you don't violate that, then of course, since our forefather gathered in on December 10, 1948, it was a vote of 48 out of 58. So when you look at the entire kind of thing is that dominantly the nations that came together won because they overwhelmingly voted, yes, we want to declare of the United Nations Declaration of Human Rights. We want to sign this document that will affect the entire world. But the question for all of us, how many of us know that those countries are initially that signed those documents? Some of them had the worst human rights violations. So how can civil society that has, you know, the autonomous right. You have right to your organization autonomously, and well, you are representing people. You are speaking for communities. You're speaking for nation. You're speaking for government, especially for the vulnerable in our society. So as we look at uh, engaging with our civil society leaders and some of the different group of people who understand what it means though to fulfill. You see, when you're holding people accountable as right holders, I think you should also be looking at some of those things that you're not supposed to do while you're holding them accountable, like freedom of speech. You have the right of freedom of speech, but you are also responsible for anything you say while you're expressing that right. So people don't realize that we get stuck up in our own rights because we commit ourselves to it and we want to show people that we are powerful. Like on social media, we are just a platform, a pressure group, a group that announces things to help pressurize and to help the government to know that this is what's happening. And so I want you to take action. Even though if the government does not take action, you don't have any power to allow them to take action. Only trying to help. So I often see that a lot of people that don't actually want to assume the responsibility, we always want to express their rights. So forget about the responsibility aspect, my friend. My right. You abuse my right. So as long as we are looking at the rule of law and the aspect of where the law has to be breached between the state and an individual or a community, then of course the right holders can demand their rights, can demand answers to some of the questions in their minds. But the problem with society is because of the contemporary season, the time we're in right now, the AR season is so complex that by the time you want to hold somebody accountable, something else come out because that person may have done a lot of different things that they cannot defend. Because human right is an entitlement to every individual. And that right must be protected by law, guaranteed by the state. What guarantee your local government is giving you? What guarantee are they giving you? How do they fit into what we're doing? You got to know what they're doing. So as we, talk about the reality that kingdom citizens and people who believe that civil society has a greater responsibility, like I was saying on the forum last night, that the responsibility that we have, it should not be limited to just, well, trying to apply something to do, but understand our responsibility from that perspective. I believe that not only because I'm the founder, or probably I've been in the field for years, no, because I am one who have the passion. So you can hold government accountable, yes, but what is happening to you or the group that you are heading? Are they holding themselves accountable in order to start raising awareness or to start teaching or to start doing something? Because I don't care what happens, there will always be Joshua. There will always be Joshua. So God is raising a new generation of mindset that take responsibility of any actions. If I took the action, probably maybe I would, it's a text message or something. I took the action. I wrote that because that is what I wrote. I wrote it. Affirming the truth and saying to somebody who was wrong. So when we discover the things that we have been placed into as civil society leaders, we must take the lead. We must take the lead. God is not going to come down to give us the wisdom. that we ask for. You see, anyone lack wisdom asks. So in strategies or strategizing, how can you engage people for money that is going to be able to do any great thing? If they don't give, what would be your next step? It's almost like you're planning a project, and um, I want to write this book in the next 5 months or 5 years. I want to be at this place as a result of what the effort that I'm making to promote it or to do what I'm doing. It is not about, well, how you feel about yourself. It's about what you see about the future of your nation, about the future of your children, about the future of your community. So the problem is saying, I'll just, okay, a lot of people still fighting, people fighting. We can't get, the information. Everybody trying to get a piece of bread, a piece of bread. A piece of bread. So it's difficult. So in our podcast last night, we may mention some of the not the lapses or the negative approach of engaging pastors and bishops and leaders that might have had the information, or misconstrue the information, or mismanage, the ability to do it and did not do it. So those three factors could be, one could be truth, that they heard the message, they got the information, but they decide to ignore it and keep doing what they're doing. Okay, so I think that not only that God have given you as a civil society leader that zeal for you to do more, and you could be telling God, Lord, I'm too small. Don't don't see it. Yeah, yes. So, oh, okay, I'll call you back. Oh, okay. Yeah. So I think the basic thing that we need to do is for us to have a focus, and for us to have a focus on God. Yes, but on the things that we all assign in for on the assignment. Civil society is not, and should not be on the fence when it comes to how do uh, how do we drive or work together in order to break that, probably I would say that long-term problem, that politicians put us together and always use us and make us to be nothing. So we need to engage. How many of us have connected us since we got connected? How many of us have connected yourself to somebody else or mosquito? How many of us are sincere to ourselves? We need a massive, hmm, we need intensified message. We need a positive message about the things that matters when it comes to rights and responsibility. Why you think so? Why you think we need aggressive message, a message that brings the truth? So I want to agree with you. And then I see you coming. Oh my God! Thank you, Jesus. Thank you. Yes, I'll come. I'll come tonight. let's say about 7, not tonight because I can't leave in the night. I'll can't leave. So, excuse me, I'm sorry. It's like I want to do something, and the rule of law says I will be held responsible if I do something, even though I'm doing the right thing, omission and omission. Even though I sign up to do it, but something comes in the way while I was doing it, and then I want to not put the blame on the thing that comes in, and I didn't make a choice. So when we talk about human rights, because the definition is an entitlement to every individual, and that right must be protected by law, guaranteed by the state. It is not just an open thing that somebody can just say, okay, a human right, common is a common noun. So everybody wants to use that word, but the entire nation and everyone else in the world must know. One person on that flyer did not see the train station again. No, did not come back. Thank God for that. Drive away. Sometimes you might know this person, they see you, they try to condemn you, or to try not to be with you or to be along with you. And sometimes you don't have to mind. You don't have to look at that. You have freedom to live without intimidation. You see, in Africa, this is the mentality, and that mentality must go. As you build institution, you are building institution with resilience. We are building institution with a foundation that even if I was not there, the institution stays strong. It has its operating board. It has powerful people that will say, okay, we can restructure, we can say this. So there are a lot of things that has to do with human rights and our responsibility, the choices we made that is make it a complex. We got in the life of people. Probably let me get to the first part, then I get to the drugs. We got in the life of people, and the people we got in the life of, we see them to be troublesome. So then, probably, and we thought that we as human beings could change them, or probably maybe we ain't know them. And after many years, they became the threat to our life or to the community. Because as responsible citizens of our country, of our community, citizen of whatever environment you find yourself, you are the whistleblower. You are the one that try to protect. Your right is actually ends here, and another man's right begins here. And you also have the right to protect your own environment, to blow a line if the environment is not. I was watching back in Liberia. There's a guy when in the middle of the concession agreement. In other words, the company itself on the field. He was not in the office to talk about it. You were right on the field, engaging other managers. Questions about how do you look at what you're doing here? The people who live here are still living in poverty. So what does the concession say? What are of the social funds? What is the social welfare funds? Where does the fund goes? What is your plan for the next 20 years as a company in our nation? What is your plan? So these are things that civil society can track. It's not only the when I talk about partnership here in our partnership forum yesterday evening, I specifically were talking about the fact that when you partner, when you collaborate, in other words, you collaborate in order to yield results. You didn't come together not to yield results. So as citizen, forget about politics. Let politics be the second. Let nation be the first. As citizen of our country, of citizen of your community. Because you see, uh, I don't want to go on the spiritual side, but If you let me as your representative today, and because based on I could talk, I'm eloquent, well, this guy will do well because he always talking about good things. He say he love and other people, but I might be just saying it. At the end of the day, I might not be the right candidate. So you vote me in, and well, I'm going there for 6 years or 9 years. So if I'm not a good guy, if I'm selfish, I'm not going to put your community first, down to the president. So in other words, we have rights to make choices, but we are responsible to make good choice or choices. It is not about a choice. It is about our responsibility to make the good choice. Because what happens when we make bad choices, it affects us and our generation. So when we talk about the rule of law, and many of us, if not all of us, think about freedom of speech. So you join different group of people that decide to host something called marriage or something, and you decide to go and let your voice be heard, which is your right. No one can stop you from expressing these rights in Article 19 of the Declaration of Human Rights and in our own constitution. In every nation, a gun law is almost the same with the international standard. But even though we have almost the same, but we don't respect those laws because what happens is that we think that, well, okay, the international law, they have this standard, but they can't hold us responsible, even though we need to be held responsible. So it is time for civil society. I'm not talking about civil society on the fence. And the community engagement global mission and its mission in Africa is about not exposing, but to let people and citizens know their rights. Even there are some government officials right in Liberia don't even know some of the thing they need to do right there in the house. They don't know, but they got into power. We put them there. It is time for us to begin to look that it is not just about my brother gave me some bread to eat and food, so then I have the right to make choice. So I make choice based on that, and then after many years, I come back and say we're suffering, or we suffer because we didn't take action. And the community engagement in the summit coming up in November, it's not about, well, okay, we're bringing everything to you. Come and take it. It's about driving us, taking responsibility, petitioning our government, and standing together. If the other don't want to stand, which have been tied to some corruption and been got used to that, so well they want to remain in those patterns. We don't have to remain this to be the same. The problem with civil society and individual is that we think that many years ago our forefather did it, so that's my time. So this new mindset must based on the fact that I have a choice to make, but I have a responsibility to make good choice. Down to the family level, where we have to be making our decision when it comes to our husband, our young children coming up, our young children, our prayer for them, and how can we keep teaching them. Now, the problem, the good things about my book drive is all about education. It's not just about, well, okay, the books, but resources that we can hand out, that we can have free. And I believe in God, we're going to be giving free human rights for children books for free. We're going to be attracting donors to take contract with those books and go to the company and buy it, and then go to nations like Nigeria, Liberia, and give it to children. Because when you get to that book and really apply it, their generation is going to be good. So what am I saying? It is our responsibility as leaders. You see, investing in long term, not just in short term. Looking at today, nothing. We don't have everything. Oh yeah, all these people should get all the money, and you think that investors just got money? No, you can see they don't have the money, but they have the resources. They are funding a long term investment, and they are talking about not just today. You eat it and die. You eat it, and after tomorrow, you go back in the toilet, and the days are passed. And then you come and meet up with another year with frustration again, and then you go back into drain. It is time for us to begin to look at human rights as a responsibility. And I was saying it to some of the guys. I said to myself, well, people of God who don't understand the basics of human rights, they need to learn, they need to buy these books and read it. Or they need to buy any book and read it. Or they need to go to back to the internet, ask the AI, ask AI, ask them, ask ChatGPT, ask a box. We have different name for this guy, Marker. I got my AI named Marker. So ask Marker, and I'm gonna be asking Marker tomorrow. My phone is low. But ask Marker, Marker, what do you think about the next generation? If this remain, if we remain on this path, and Marker will start telling me about the entire thing Marker will project. So you see where we are going in the technology field. We no longer probably some of the things we do now. I don't have to help myself too much to do some of the things. I have to just speak, and then sometimes I just apply something right away in the next maybe 5 seconds or 1 second or 2 seconds. I got something done. But those things that we see is not going to help us if we don't have it. That means the book I write or I'm writing, if I'm not able to defend it, if I'm not able to explain it, if I'm not able to, if I'm not in having the expertise in some of the things that I'm doing, I'm just writing to make money. In the next to just start talking about it to make money, but I'm not. No, I want to have it. I want to know it. I want to have it as a subject, and I want it to be my day-to-day routine in order to help people to develop into a very decent society. When we look back 7 days ago, may his soul rest in peace. The late Nolan was life was destroyed. Friends, rights, responsibility, making choices, who to make your friends as young people. The fact that rich, poor, and let me lay some emphasis on the for 5 minutes. We are making choices because based on the rich, oh that this lady is rich, or these people, yeah, I like for my children to go among rich people, man, to rich people's school. I'd agree. Not all the now everybody can have this unfortunate situation, but you gotta pray to God, believing God, ask God for wisdom. If you have problems, I'm gonna be talking more about our Christian family, marriage, and intimacy tomorrow at 4 o'clock, and I'm gonna be focusing on something very interesting in this podcast. We make choices. We feel that well, the other guys who go to those schools or our children went to good schools or they didn't go to good school or other people's children were going to those good schools. So we want to also now measure on because we're making good money. Or maybe we got everything fine. So we don't want our children to go to those insignificant schools. Or we call it downgraded school. Let's look at rich guys. We try to send our kids to those places because we think that is the best solution. The best thing we can give our children is God, the Word of God. First, education. The Word of God first. Morals. Understand life. Education is very essential, but education is not wisdom. Wisdom is it's the ability to make good use of education. So you can have education and don't have wisdom. So what happens is that your children, because you feel that you have all the money, you're gonna die. You're gonna leave it. But what are you leaving? What morals are you developing for your community, for your children, for the next generation in our country? What are you leaving with them? Not just money, but the next generation, even in our country. Like for instance, anything I'm doing in the world today, even if the books I write, everything I'm doing, if I leave it to the who you think is going to go to the next generation to come, it's going to be lifetime. It depends on the importance of these materials. It depends on the way I do it. It depends on the connection and what I want to do in order to make it marketable. But it's a long-term investment, and the same way the long-term investment about depositing good things in our children, into the youth today, is a long-term investment. How many of us follow the community engagement? No. How many people? We don't care about thousands of people following us. What we care about is that when they follow us one day, they will learn something they never learned the days. Our interest is about developing the next generation to be prepared morally. In other words, to take over, it need a lot of not just publicity, but people should understand their rights and responsibilities. So at the community engagement level, I want to welcome those of us who are passing through and watching this podcast. It's something that we have never experienced, or as an experienced person into the ministry and also into civil society. I understand. We went to meetings at the American embassy back in Liberia, went to all the big meetings. There's going to be a next meeting next year. And those are time all the time. Oh, you're going to be that. We should drive from those mentality that the next meeting next year. Yes, it's good to keep going to those meetings, but going to meeting without results, there's no effect. It's not driving. It's helping, but it's not actually producing. So because of those patterns, because of the foundation, many people, it will be difficult for people to switch to my foundation. But should I stop? Should I stop saying the right thing? Should I stop doing the right thing, or telling people about what is going to help our country, what is going to help you as a family? Uh, how can we work together? Should I stop saying it because people are not following me? No. That is what God has called me to do. That is what my passion is driving me to do. With all support, I don't care about the 5 years, the 2 years we're going into our legal our private process. It's just about what is inside of me that is going to spring out to the next generation. To the next generation. Somebody hear me and engage your family, engage your community, engage your different groups in your communities. We can go to meeting today. And as I close today, I want us to take three reasons that we want to be part of what we're doing. In the summit that is coming up in November, you could join us tonight on business, creative business and affirmation with Dr. Smiley, Coffee with Dr. Smiley. And we're going to be talking a very important topic again. But I want us to drive here into this very interesting time as I close. Don't never think that you're not important into society. Don't never feel disappointed because people don't support you. Don't never feel that you are insignificant and there's no essence of what you're doing is just for nothing. Don't never feel that you were born into a family that have neglected you. Feel that you have life. That you have life, and your life is more important than whatever you think. Your life is more important. And apply that to your day-to-day activities. You don't have to discourage yourself. And I want to encourage somebody in your community welfare thing, your voluntary thing you're doing, like learning today, leading tomorrow, our team. It is something that I believe that if everybody would think, well, okay, let me do what I can do. Let me forget about the next person, not to suppress them. Let them come in with their opinions. Let's work together to make a change in our communities. In the next 20 years, as I close, if you purchase one of the book on Amazon or in any part of the world as a listing, the essence of human rights, you see we got 20 questions at the back, question and answers. And to every chapters, we have 5 questions. The same way with Liberia, the beginning of Africa, that is going to be launched on the 26th. But those important questions challenges us to to go ahead with what you are doing. It challenges us to look at the far back, retrogress, think back as far as the 1990s or the 1980s, before the multi-party system in Liberia. There was only one party system. Coming to 1980, all these guys strolled on the pole. 1990 came back. People went to war, and we went 2000, and everything was ever war. So within that time, what happened to some of us is that we lose our not our our sense of directions, but we lose our parents, we lose everything, and but it was not the end of our lives. Quickly, we have to remember, and don't ever think that well, if I didn't send my child to the bigger school, that means I would never rest. I never went to the most. I don't know how to talk about them. I never went to no good school in my country. I went to government school. I went to a school that I graduated from a school that people say I come like graduate. Okay, St. Samuel was a school and it's a school people call come like graduate. No, it's not come like graduate. The mentality was because everybody think that they can send you got to go to the best school before you can become a good person. It is you that makes you. Every school has good teachers. They have some foundation. It is you who will make it. There are many people that went to good schools, but I will not call their names here. If you see them, you will cry for them. Is that the problem? Well, ask yourself. So it's not about don't never make any competition with no one. If there's a time to send your child to government school, that's what I look at people. I just said anything that comes my way, I've go through that. Send them to any school, especially to a school that is respected. Some of those math Rosemont school that people can condemn. The teachers are more focused on the children than the schools that you think all the rich people children go to. I don't want to name some of them. The Children Assistance Rescue Mission, when I was in Liberia, we're doing some of our checking and visiting. We got tips, good information about a very nice school. I'm not going to call the name here. That school, the president children were going there too. But that school, in every recent time, sometimes those girls and some of the girls will go in the back room and do something that when you see, you will never you regret to send your children to those schools. But people send their children. And you can see that at the end of the life of most of the kids, the only thing you can see, the educated, yes, they have good morals sometimes, but the morals sometimes indomitantly is not compared to a child that went to that Muslim school. Yeah, so education is essential. So do not pick and choose to think that, well, okay, because you don't have the money, so you want to send your child to this school, you want to send, look, no matter where you send your children, okay? If you think, once you know that you have good teachers, education system in Liberia is getting better, and I can promise you it will get much better. I want to thank you for following, and I want to say to all of us, learning today, leading tomorrow is our focus. And never to go back, never to retrogress. And we want to encourage those of us who want to be support to us, who want to follow us, who want to be part of what we're doing. We're not an institution that we are building here for partiality or probably because of Christianity, because of no. It's about global saying. And we want for you to feed it in part of what we're doing. I don't want to explain some of the things that will be coming up this year because we have to do a lot uh, of timing and implementations. But I want to say to all of us, those of us who are following community engagement, it's an institution. We have our presence in Nigeria. We're going to be having our presence in Liberia. We have our presence there. We have MOU, but we're going to have our ambassador who is going to be representing the community engagement to other institutions. The Children Assistance Rescue Mission is going to be responsible for every children materials coming up to Liberia. And I want to encourage somebody here listening to me. It's astounding. And we believe that nothing will stop what God wants to do through you. I want to encourage you and I want to say to you, be constructive in your decisions. Don't worry about, like I tell people, the political saying, we will engage people on social media because it becoming a place propagandists that they use against good people only because they want to retrogress or they want maybe to take power somewhere in the world. And then at the end of the day, they tell you and myself, well, we think the following government was corrupt or this is a political thing. Is very dangerous. So we as citizens of countries, we as civil society leaders must be together to defend our people's rights, to teach them the truth. It's not about, well, the pocket that is open, that people can just go and give you brown envelope and you sell the people future for a piece of bread. Many people have sold our future. Many of our leaders sold our future. And the thing again, our future can be sold because that is something that I've been for years in Africa. I've been listening to the Nigeria situation. I want to call on Nigerians. I'd agree that it's been politicized, it's been religiously attacked by one religion, want to eliminate everything, bow down to you as citizen of Nigeria. And taking money from somebody that said, I want you to make me your senator or representative in Nigeria or whatever, even in Liberia, and that person is not qualified, take the money and eat it. That's one of our advocates when it comes to putting Liberia first. Take the money and eat it and go and vote your conscience. Go and vote your future. Don't worry about what are they going to know. Don't worry about nobody in the room with you. Vote your future. Nigerians, the only solution is not fighting. We believe in peace, justice, and equality. Any part of the world. It's not by creating chaos. Go and wait for the time of elections. Continue to make your case. Go to elections. Go there where if you do it overwhelmingly, it's difficult for anyone to tell you that you cheated. Right there in Guinea, what happened to this guy? Why his people love him? Overwhelmingly, 75%. Nobody can talk about that. He had no opponents. So it is coming a time into our nations in Africa and other places that it's not going to be like before. You can bring your bread, you can give me your money, I better eat it, and not to put you somewhere that I know is going to take us back to Egypt. It's going to destroy our community. It's going to destroy the thing that our children will be affected. And I want to thank you for following our rights and responsibility. And rule of laws is one of the things that we need to hold very strongly, not politicize. Don't you have a right to join political parties because you're a human being. But if I were ready and pressed to join political party, then of course I'm joining it for a reason, but I'm not joining the political party because of the political party leadership that might not be qualified because I'm in the party. So I'm going to why no, I'm looking above the party and I'm looking above the party, looking at nation. And there where many of us need to look at responsibility. Responsibility. It doesn't matter. It's almost like in an institution, and the person who I want to put in an institution is maybe this person is not qualified because I'm in an institution. I'm putting the institution first. That means I want the institution to be built up, so I'm going to look for the person that will be the most qualified person because I want that institution to succeed. Even what I'm doing here today. I put people, we elect people, we select people, we look at them for the past 2, 3 months, 5, 6 years, or 1 year, 3 years, or 2 years. We say, okay, this person can just do another thing. Let's look for another person that we think I will be able to be effective. That's how we do and want to continue to encourage Liberians, Africans, and we'll look at yourself, your rights, your power, your responsibility, your choice is welcoming. I want to thank you guys for following. I want to say God bless you. And don't forget, yes, we want to be on calls every 2 o'clock on Fridays. We took it from 12 o'clock. We're trying to adjust our time in the best we can. But again, every time something will come out. And so we want to say, just be around and just know that we adhered, and we want to say thank you for following, man. Education, there are some other things coming up. We will be giving you update. Watch us tonight at 7 o'clock with Coffee with Dr. Smiley. Now, it's called Creative Business Affirmation. It's a kind of program that we are encouraging and encouraging people and bringing people together as different group of people, business. Like, I'm going to be connected to the, how they call them, the business community. I'm being connected to other people through this initiative. Other things, those are things. It's not just about money. It's about networking. Networking can take you to a level that you never thought you would be. I want to thank God for you guys. I want to thank God for Brother John Rain and his wife. I want to thank God for Judy and Brother John Cumberland. And I want to thank God for also recognizing the United States Institute for Diplomacy and Human Rights right there in my book, Human Rights for Children. And I want to say thank you again. Follow us for more as we talk about rights and responsibility. Don't forget that you are the next leader that God wants to be. God could be choosing you. God could be putting you to that place, and you're trying to run away from that leadership. I want to encourage you. Sometimes we want to strut away from what God is calling us to do because, we look at the kind of frustration, especially in some of the things that we don't. And I just want to thank you. God bless you. Take the time.
We gather in the sunlight, many faces, one white sky, books open on the table, ancient stories in our eyes. From the village to the city, from the river to the shore, every question is a doorway, every mind can open doors. We are learning today to lead tomorrow.
Hey there, community leaders. Imagine a world where every community thrives, where each individual has a voice and every effort creates a lasting impact. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, it's time to turn that dream into reality. Welcome to the Global Community Engagement Forum.